Hello, this is day 5, and in this video I'll be talking about what you're supposed to do in the first 2 weeks of moving to Japan. So some of these are mandatory, like you have to do them at least within the first 2 weeks, but a few other of these things, you can take like a little bit of time, but you still want to try and get them done as soon as you can. So the first thing that you want to do is secure an apartment or dorm, or just get a permanent address in Japan. So this could be like a homestay or whatever. So once you have a permanent address in Japan, you have to register it at your city hall or like ward office. So depending on the city that you live in, there's going to be ward offices for each ward in the city. So you just have to find out which one you live in, and then you have to go to that specific ward office to register your address. So when I did it, I went to the ward office, and then I just asked them for the documents to register my address, and they'll give you like English translation ones if you need, and then you just have to fill out the information with your full address and everything, and then you'll have to give it back to the person, and they'll like put it on your resident card, whatever, and then they'll also just make sure that it's like correct and check everything with you. And if Japanese is not something that you feel confident in, then I would suggest that maybe bringing somebody else along that knows Japanese will be really helpful in this type of situation. But it's not a requirement, like you can do it by yourself and you would be okay. They try to help you as much as they can in English, but definitely try and get somebody if you don't feel confident in doing it yourself. And then when you're at the city hall or ward office registering your address, they'll just get you to register national health insurance as well. So this is also a mandatory thing that everybody has to do in Japan. This you do have to pay, but depending on if you're a student or working, it will be a different amount that you have to pay. So with this, they'll just send you like a bill that you have to pay. You don't have to pay it there, but yeah, they'll just send you a bill in the mail afterwards. And then if you already have your student card and you're at the ward office or city hall, you also have to apply for pension, which is also a mandatory thing. If you're a student, then the payment will be exempt, and what they'll do is they'll send you like an invoice, but later they'll send you like a confirmation of exemption of the payment, so then you won't have to pay it. And then just, you know, make sure that you get that confirmation before you throw out the invoice. So those are like the main 4 things that you want to do before, like within the first 2 weeks. The pension, it can be like a little bit after 2 weeks, but you definitely do want to try and get registered in that as soon as you can. And then the last 2 things that I have on my list are just things that you can do, but like, I mean, you should do them, especially if it's like important. So the first one is get a bank account. So in Japan, there's only one bank account that allows you to open up an account with them within the first 6 months of living here, and that's Japan Post Bank. So you can either do it online or in person, and you just have to make sure you have like your resident card and documents to verify like if you're going to school or like work or whatever. And then if you don't need a bank account, then you don't have to open it up like as soon as you get there, but it's definitely helpful when you're paying like rent and everything as well. If you do have the option to wait like 6 months, then that's great. Then you have a larger option of bank accounts to choose from. But Japan Post Bank is like the only one that allows you to open within the first 6 months. And then the last thing is like just have fun and explore your surroundings and where you're going to be for however long. So you are allowed to enter the country within the first 2 weeks of your program starting. So the start date and then 2 weeks before that. So you're allowed to enter 2 weeks before, and if you can, then I would suggest that you come 2 weeks earlier just to get everything sorted out, but then also just to explore like where you're going to be. So I think it's really important for you to try and understand where you're going to be living and kind of like build a routine for yourself before you actually start school, just so it's not so overwhelming when you first get here. So yeah.